Hi guys, welcome back to Before You Go. We are a lifestyle portal for those seeking support in the areas of mental health and wellness. Our goal is to help you reach financial and social emotional freedom. Before we get started, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Today's topic is motivation. This topic is part of our Breaking Pathologies series. Hopefully, you've had the opportunity to review the previous videos on self-awareness and self-regulation. If not, be sure to do so at the end of this video. Now, again, we're going to talk about motivation. This is a really critical element in helping us attain our goals. Motivation, as a definition, is a noun, but today I want to talk about it as a verb. Denzel Washington has given us some great speeches in his time. During one of them, he speaks about motivation, saying, Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. He goes on to say, fall down 7 times, get up 8. It's a great advice from a great actor of our time. We see motivation issues and problems and challenges, if you will, when you want to do things like exercise or get a job, a better job, make more money, have better relationships, so on and so forth. We're often told things like just be positive or work harder, right? Or maybe your motivation level just isn't high enough. But the thing we often overlook are those extrinsic and intrinsic motivators. So I want to talk today again about what the difference is between those two things. So intrinsic motivation, by definition, is doing activities for their inherent satisfaction, right? Rather than because there's a consequence. When we're intrinsically motivated, we are just moved to do things for fun, right? Or for a challenge rather than because there's some sort of external reward. Our intrinsic motivators are like reading a book for enjoyment, or if you like measurements and math, maybe working on a carpentry or a building project. So that's intrinsic motivation. Extrinsic motivation, on the other hand, is motivating, ourselves by completing tasks and exhibiting behaviors just because there's a punishment or a reward. Some extrinsic motivators for a child would be like extra computer time or, free time after completing some task. For an adult, it may look like maybe a bonus at work. So you want to know, hey, now I have this background information. What exactly do I need to do to get myself motivated? Well, the first tip I have for you is to list the things in your life that you're not happy with and to determine the rock bottom of those things. So, for instance, if you want to stop using alcohol to mask a problem, determine if your rock bottom includes losing maybe your drinking buddies and pals or sitting in whatever pain you're hiding. So, again, identify your rock bottom, and this will allow you to sit in the pain or the grief. And, although it is hard, it will ignite change. The second tip I have for you is to create great habits. Now, this is not as easy as it sounds. Habits happen with little or no conscious thought, right? Brushing your teeth or putting on your seatbelt, those are habits. For a routine to turn into a habit, you'll have to just have that behavior over and over time and do it again with little to no thought. The third tip I have for you is to go ahead and kickstart your life. And by that, I mean using some of our Before You Go motivation tips to kickstart your life. So one of the things that we talk about here are starting really, really small. I like to call it celebrating small wins. So if you are on a workout journey, maybe starting 10 to 15 minutes a day, right? And celebrate every time you have that small win. The second thing you can do is focus on forming one habit at a time. So, that list that we talked about earlier, don't try to create a bunch of new habits at one time. Just pick one at a time. And once it becomes a habit, then you can focus on something else. It's also important to commit to a no excuses attitude. In order for something to become a habit, you really have to have no excuses. there are non-negotiables, and one of your non-negotiables will be that I will have no excuses. The next motivation tip would be to find a visual motivator to track your progress. And in reading a lot about this, I read about Jerry Seinfeld, who uses something called a chain method, where he adds a link to the chain every time he makes progress on something. Something simpler would be simply crossing off, days on your calendar, like a physical hard copy of a calendar, checklists, things like that. More motivators, using the piggyback method. So if you already have a good habit, something again as easy and as simple as brushing your teeth, piggyback off of that. So if you wake up every morning, you brush your teeth, create your habit, the new habit you're trying to form after that, right? You can also make sure your goals are explicit. So if you're trying to create this new habit, don't say, oh, I want to kind of lose weight this year. Make it very specific and explicit. I want to lose 2 pounds per month. The next tip would be have an accountability partner. So this one is really tough because your accountability partner should be somebody who's already accomplished the goal, right? You can't be on this quest with somebody who's in the same state of mind as yourself. And as always, with any of these tips, seek professional help. If you're, if you have a lot of life goals and it's something that's stemming from a childhood trauma or some other trauma, seek professional help. There's tons of online psychologists and psychiatrists and medical professionals, therapists, life coaches, etc., that you can just access online, or you can physically speak to your doctor about it. If you're again, talking about working out or have some sort of weight loss goals, that professional may be, somebody at the gym, a trainer,